watching The American on ESPN.
All right, gentlemen.
Absolutely gorgeous.
This is the coin that we'll use
October,
today. Temple,
Saturday
you're the visitor, so you'll make the
North
call.
Carolina.
This is heads.
American Conference play rolls on. It's the Temple Owls looking for their second conference win against the Charlotte 49ers, 1-5, trying to win at home on homecoming. Good Saturday afternoon and welcome to Jerry Richardson Stadium on the campus of the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, alongside Reginald Walker. I'm Richard Cross. Smacker Miles will join us in just a moment. A couple of first-year head coaches, programs moving, I think, in the right direction. Temple, they've got bowl eligibility in sight, sitting at 3-3, and Charlotte trying to get it moving in the right direction.
Yeah, Casey Keeler from Temple talked about more than just a bowl game and wanting that higher level of achievement, something to keep an eye on with his program as they sit at 3-3. And then Tim Albin is talking about trying to just get it going in the right direction in terms of wins and losses. He feels like they're still becoming as a program, but what he's looking for is the results in the win-loss column.
Reg, when you look at this Temple team, offensively, there is a guy that you better find on every single play. That's number 17 in a white jersey today, JoJo Bermudez.
Bermudez is one of those guys, they line him out wide. They'll put him in the slot. They'll put him in the return game. But the one thing you better do is identify where he is every single snap. Don't let him get free releases like you see right there. And then this is what we talked about. That's the most dangerous part. He's in space. He's in the return game. He will make you miss in a phone booth. And then, oh, by the way, he'll run right by you, too. Just a dangerous player.
Absolutely electric in the open field. So Charlotte had the big injury to Connor Harrell out for the season. And since then, they've been trying to kind of figure it out at quarterback.
Yeah, two different kind of quarterbacks. And Grayson Loftus, bigger, kind of tall guy, has the ability to push the ball down the field with a strong arm. Wilkie, a little bit more of the mobile type of quarterback. They've got to find a solution at the quarterback position, looking for some consistency there. We'll see what they do today.
Who's going to start today? Let's check in with Smacker Miles and find out.
Hey guys, I got the official word from Charlotte, and Grayson Loftus will be the starter this afternoon. Coach Albin told me they really need to get him comfortable early, and to do that, they need to establish the run game and get him on the move in the pass game. And beyond that, offensively, they have to be better on first down. They have to eliminate negative plays, and they can't have turnovers.
Smacker, thank you very much. Tim Albin in his first season here as the head coach, most recently at Ohio University, where he had it rolling. They won a conference championship just a year ago. Absolutely perfect. 80, 81 degrees, blue skies, no chance of rain. We're going to have to wait a little while, though, to see that Charlotte starter, Grayson Loftus. Tyler Stewart is the deep man to receive this opening kick. Temple will have the ball first. And this one's returnable. Scooped up around the 15. Big hit, spinning away. Trying to get to the outside, and that's a lot of running to start the possession at the 25-yard line. That's where Temple's offense will go to work, coming in with a 3-3 record. Heartbreaking loss a week ago to the Naval Academy. Temple took the lead late in that game, couldn't hold it as Blake Horvath had a big run. Evan Simon has been just outstanding so far. 13 touchdowns, no interceptions this season for the Temple signal caller.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that I had a chance to see him a couple of times last year, and he seemed like a sort of more of a game manager. This year, he's the guy that's often much more of the reason that this team is having success on offense.
He keeps it, Simon does, after a fake to Ducker, and he'll slide just short of the first down on the opening play of the ball game for a gain of 9.
And that's an aspect of Simon's game that he's been doing more and more of this year. I think they like to get him more opportunities to do that. That's a dimension of the offense that just creates a little bit more problems for the defenses to play you honestly.
The spot for Temple was a good one. Actually gave them the first down. He's got Actually, it's not Ducker in the backfield on this one. It's Hunter Smith into the ball game, and Smith with the carry, and it feels like a day where Temple is going to want to establish the run. They do it on the first 2 plays of the game.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to run the football if you want to keep your quarterback in a comfortable situation. They get a nice game there, and oh, by the way, Charlotte struggling against the running game. 5.1 yards a carry they give up. They're 132nd in the NCAA, giving up 224 yards a game.
Temple did not want to put a number on what they wanted rushing today, but they did say they wanted to establish the run, averaging 172 yards a game. That's 7th best in the American. This is Ducker with his first carry, and he runs into a wall of tacklers, led that time by Shea Taylor, the 5th-year senior from Mount Perry, Ohio. Who are some of the impact players that you are looking for today?
Yeah, I think when you look at it from the standpoint of Temple, when they have the football on the offensive side, look, you're going to have to make sure you slow this offense down, and it's going to start with slowing down Jay Ducker, that running back. And then on defense, Jaquarius Conley, they call him JQ on the back end for Charlotte, number 6. He's the guy that's got to get everybody organized in that back end.
Kevin Mason was the motion man. Gets the handoff on the fly sweep, and he is dropped short of the first down. Kevion Mason. And it's time to punt.
I think that's a great start for Charlotte. They get their linebacker, number 35, Shea Taylor, back this week as well. Caden Schmidt's inside as well. Those two guys both came over from Ohio. That's a group that played pretty well last week without Taylor. They start the game off well today.
Javen Nicholas is the return man. The punt from Dante Atten. Fair catch called for and made at the 14-yard line. That's where Charlotte will begin its first offensive possession when we come back. Temple has to punt it away to start things off. Grayson Loftus and the Charlotte offense onto the field for the first time today. Loftus getting the nod as the starter. 49% on the year, couple of touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He and Zach Wilkie both played last week against Army. 2 years for Grayson Loftus at Duke. In 2023, he threw for over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. Smart quarterback. Sometimes they think maybe even too smart for his own good. Sometimes he wants to see everything perfectly as opposed to just letting it rip. But Charlotte lets it rip on the ground on first down. And a good first run for Cameron Smith, the senior from Claymont, Delaware, a transfer from Western Illinois, drawing the start today. And a good first carry.
Yeah, primary zone team for Charlotte in the running game. I think they're going to have more success going to the left. They've had consistency with those guys on that side of the field with that offensive line.
Only 31 carries prior to today all season long for Cameron Smith. This time to the air, and that's a completion to the wide receiver at the far side, Javen Nicholas, redshirt junior from New Orleans, spent 3 years at LSU. There is a flag on the play.
Yeah, that might be on Nicholas because he took Avery Powell and put him down with a stiff arm with that left hand. You wonder if maybe they say there was a little bit of face mask in there.
Kevin Randall is our referee today. Here we go.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 29. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
So they get Powell here. Watch Powell. Look at Nicholas. So that stiff arm it actually got up underneath the face mask there, up into the mouth there. And so Powell just grabbed a hold of Nicholas' face mask, and that's how he was able to bring him down. So there you see the penalty there.
So 15 yards, and just like that, Charlotte is into Temple territory. Nicholas in motion, and Loftus will keep it. And a good run for Grayson Loftus. A little better athlete than maybe he gets credit for. And that'll move the sticks once again.
And what I like about that is it wasn't an east-west decision for Grayson Loftus. He's much more of a straight line runner with that bigger 6'3" frame. They get him going downhill immediately in the running game. That's a nice play there by Grayson Loftus.
Loftus looking to throw, gives a pump fake, takes a shot deep down the field, and it's incomplete, intended. That time for Derek Ely, who gets his first start today. Our impact players, Cameron Stewart, a guy to watch on the defensive line for Temple.
Yeah, his ability to pass rush is absolutely amazing. This guy really has great technique, does a great job with his hands as well. And then on the offensive side, Javen Nicholas, who we've already seen get the ball for Charlotte and make a play. Got to get him involved in the passing game. He's going to be the big key. I think the other thing, get Grayson Loftus intermediate throws. I think that's where he's best as a quarterback throwing the football.
The tight end in the game for Charlotte is Jake Young. Young getting the start today with Joey Burns out. Injuries have been a big part of the story for this Charlotte team, really on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, you think about it, their starting center at the beginning of the year, and veteran Johnny King is out. Connor Harrell, we talked about the quarterback position, out. One of their running backs, Henry Rutledge, out. In baseball, they talk about the middle of the field, right? That's the same thing in football. Your center, your starting quarterback, and one of your key running backs out. That can really impact a football team.
Trips to the left. Loftus dumps it out of the backfield. It's caught, but that's going to be for a loss to Cameron Smith. He had 2 catches last week for short yardage, his 6th reception of the season.
I like the play call, but the offensive line a little bit slow getting out there. There you see number 57, the right tackle, Mason Bowers. He can't get out there in time for Smith to catch the football and use that offensive line in front of him to make those blocks. So a little bit of a timing issue there, and it impacts the opportunity and sets up a 4th down.
Offense stays on the field at the 36 on 4th down. Loftus steps up, arm hit as he lets it go, and that's going to fall incomplete. And the Temple defense comes up with a stop. Just a little bit of pressure there, and that's been a concern for Charlotte. The offensive line's ability to give the quarterback time.
And you just knew Temple was going to look to have opportunities to heat up the Charlotte quarterbacks. They do that early on. Still no score.
Scoreless in the first quarter between Temple and Charlotte. American Conference football action on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in the Queen City. Casey Keeler in his first year in Philly as the head coach of the Owls. Two-time national championship winning coach. Won it all in 2003 at Delaware and then in 2020 with Sam Houston State. You're talking about all of the coaches in college football at all of the NCAA levels. He has the second most wins of all active coaches, trailing only Brian Kelly. Jay Ducker on the ground across midfield and all the way down to the 45. Ball comes out at the end, but they say he was down. Line judge on the near side saying that he's down at the 45-yard line, so another good run for Temple.
Yeah, Jay Ducker and this Temple offense, they're going to work on getting downhill against the Charlotte defense, and he does an excellent job here getting up the field. And you see right there, that elbow comes down where the ball is in his hand. That's what caused the loose ball, I should say, because the ground cannot cause a fumble in that particular scenario. So well handled there by the officials.
Gain of 19, Temple into Charlotte territory for the first time today. Bermudez is the motion man. Quick throw to the tight end. That's Peter Clark on the reception down inside the 30.
Peter Clark, the big tight end, all 6'6", 265 pounds. The big guy out of England, the NFL Academy grad, right? Comes through, learns how to play the game, and has done nothing but be one of the best tight ends in terms of receiving the football in the country. What I like about him more than anything is his catch radius is huge, but his catch percentage. If he's in the area and that ball gets near his hands, he's bringing it in. He doesn't drop anything.
18 yards on the pitch and catch. Pressure. Simon stands in and he throws complete to Bermudez. Almost to the 10-yard line. The Temple Owls marching on this second offensive possession.
That's a vet throw by Simon. He throws this ball a little bit of a back shoulder concept here so as not to run Bermudez into a big hit from number 6. You see right there, J.Q. Conley coming over at that safety spot. So again, that's how you build trust with your receivers, is you make sure you put the ball in spots that you're not setting them up to take big hits.
So a first down for Temple, but not first and goal. Can pick up a first down without a touchdown. Simon on the RPO dumps it to the outside and into the end zone. Colin Chase for a Temple touchdown. Few Temple fans across the way excited for that opening score as Colin Chase hauls it in. The redshirt junior from Tustin, California.
Yeah, Chase he's kind of in the backfield almost as a wing. And the whole thing is just him in a foot race against Caleb Curtin to the sideline. He beats him, makes a nice catch, turns upfield, and gets in the end zone. Just a simple concept there to get a quick throw and play the foot race game to the edge.
Carl Harden perfect this season, kicking extra points, now 23 for 23. 4 plays, 64 yards, just 2 minutes and 12 seconds, capped off with an 11-yard touchdown to Colin Chase. 7-0 Temple in front. We talked a little about Casey Keeler, the head coach for the Temple Owls. For more on the man in his first year in Philly, here's Smacker Miles.
Hey guys, Coach Keeler is a big believer in the power of having a great culture. He wanted his players and staff to connect on a personal level, so they shared their 3 H's: history, hardship, and hero. Coach Keeler's hero is his dad because he was tough. He said the only way he'd lose a fight is if he died. And he was a great mentor. He ran the youth baseball, basketball, and football programs. It's a huge part of Coach Keeler's conviction to be a great mentor to his student athletes.
There are a lot of coaches that talk about culture. I don't know if there's anybody that believes in it, preaches it, and makes sure that it's part of the day-to-day more than Casey Keeler at Temple.
I would agree with you on that. And I think the other thing here about Coach Keeler, as you see the ball hit in the end zone and then carry him out of bounds. The other thing about Keeler, he's from what they call Emmaus, Pennsylvania, which is kind of in northeast Pennsylvania, Lehigh Valley area. I'm not from there, but I went to college at Penn State, and I know a lot of guys and people from that region of the state, and they are some of the most hard-nosed, forward-thinking, forward marching kind of people you'll ever meet. And you can see that from Casey Keeler. You know what you're going to get coming from him. He doesn't leave anything for you to guess or figure out.
Keeler's been a winner everywhere he has coached. Now we'll see if the Charlotte offense can answer. Ely the motion man, but it's a handoff instead to Cameron Smith. Short gain on first down for Cameron Smith, who gets the start despite the fact that Rod Gainey is the leading rusher on this team. They need Rod Gainey to take better care of the football and decided that Cameron Smith deserved the opportunity.
At the end of the day, the most important thing when you're an offensive player is maintaining possession of the football. When you turn it over in the fourth quarter of games, that's going to impact things. It's going to impact your team. Coach made a decision based on that.
Quick pass to Smith out of the backfield and a big hit in the open field. That is Stewart, Eric Stewart, junior from East Palo Alto, California, the middle linebacker, covering some ground to get out and make that hit.
Yeah, this is his DNA. Like, he will hit you in the mouth. Tell you what, he's got to get that head up. Drop that head a little bit there. He's got to be careful, but he will do just that. He is a physical linebacker at the point of attack.
Third down, we'll call it 6 for Charlotte. Turned it over on downs on their last possession, gave Temple a short field. Loftus floats it down the sideline, and that one is hauled in by Sean Brown. A transfer from UNC Pembroke, so playing at a lower level. He's a guy that Charlotte needs to be productive.
He transferred in and was just going to be a regular student. He's from not far down the road in Waxhaw, which is a suburb here of Charlotte, and goes up and makes a nice play. He's got good size on him at 6'4", and that's a nice play for them to get something going down the field. What I also liked in that route, just a subtle push-off right before he went up to attack the football. Nice play that time by Brown.
38 yards on the reception, and now a reverse. This is Derek Ely trying to get through the middle of the field and brought down after a gain of about 11, maybe 12. Another first down for the 49ers.
Another bright spot for the folks that are local. Number 89, Derek Ely from nearby Huntersville, Hopewell High School. They haven't had a ton of success at that high school in high school football in recent years. He's one of the bright spots that came out of there, walked on here, and certainly contributing early in his career.
He is a walk-on, probably won't be for all that much longer. Ely is the motion man that settles into the slot at the bottom of your screen, but they hand it off. Powering down toward the 15-yard line. That's a good first down run for the 49ers.
I think the best sign for Charlotte in running the football is it limits the amount of opportunities this really good Temple defensive front has to tee off and get after the quarterback in the passing game. This is a really good pass rushing group. They haven't had a lot of opportunities so far in this game with the balance of the play calling from offensive coordinator Fitch.
Cameron Smith transferred in from Western Illinois, had over 800 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground a season ago. Not much room inside, a bunch of white jerseys right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of a yard on the play, and a third down coming up.
I think if you're Charlotte, right, you're looking at this situation, 3rd, 5-ish. Obviously, we've already seen them go for it on one situation on a 4th down. I think they'll likely go for it on 4th down again here. See, they're just 65% in the red zone so far this season.
13 scores, only 10 of those touchdowns. Got to be more productive inside the 20-yard line. Loftus, complete to the outside. That's Miles Burris hauling it in, the sophomore from Jacksonville and Trinity Christian Academy. It's his 12th catch of the year.
Just a nice route by Burris, just a nice little speed cut. Call that a little bit of a sticks route, if you will. Get to the sticks, work to the outside. There's going to be no help underneath. Make an easy throw there for Loftus. First down.
First and goal inside the 10-yard line. They'll snap it from the 8. Pressure, or at least a pressure look that time from Temple on first down. 9 men really close to the ball, and they hand it off. And that's Jariel Cobb. Cobb, the freshman from Reidsville, North Carolina.
Charlotte going to go with a little bit of tempo here. They like, I think, the matchup they have at the line of scrimmage in terms of this personnel grouping.
This time it's Loftus holding on to it himself. Loftus down to about the 2-yard line where he's knocked off his feet. 3rd and goal coming up.
This is a really good play by Ben Osweke, number 24. See, he's covering Young, but he sits himself down to make sure he doesn't allow Loftus to run that football into the end zone. That's well done out on the corner by Osweke. And in that particular situation, Jake Young's got to be a little bit more forceful in getting up the field to clear space for Grayson Loftus on the run there.
10th play of the drive for Charlotte. Will it be a scoring play? Nicholas comes in tight. The handoff is to Cobb. He is held out of the end zone. He was knocked back, tried to bounce it to the outside, and good pursuit by Temple to keep him out of pay dirt. It looks like the offense will stay on the field here on a 4th down play.
Yeah, they're going to stay on the field, and you see Cobb there just bounce off, but just too many white jerseys. And this time they're going to go with a little more of a heavy package. Added tight ends, number 17, Gus McGee in the game as well. Really, really good blocker out of that tight end position.
McGee on the right side, Young the tight end on the left side. Loftus looking to throw back, and he's able to connect for a touchdown. That's Gus McGee on the reception. They thought he might be limited today. He's been a little banged up. First touchdown catch of the year for Gus McGee.
Nice execution, you see it here. Loftus, a little bit of a token play action fake, and then good patience. The offensive line holds up, and then you get the tight end McGee working across the front of the goal line. Makes a nice catch for a touchdown. An
11-play scoring drive for Charlotte. A big answer for the 49ers. The extra point is good, and we are knotted at 7 with 1:38 left in this opening quarter. 75 yards, 6 minutes off the clock. And a perfect 4 for 4 for 50 yards for Grayson Loftus on the scoring drive. On 4th and goal from the 2, Grayson Loftus able to find his man for a touchdown, Gus McGee. First touchdown catch of the year for McGee. Third, 7 apiece between Temple and Charlotte. Loftus 6 of 8 for 59 yards and a touchdown. He was just 8 of 12 last week, threw for 68 yards and a touchdown. The deep man to receive here is Tyler Stewart. That one's going to fly over his head, and Temple will begin their 3rd offensive possession from their own 25.
It's a Temple offense. We saw him drive and get the touchdown, obviously, earlier. Colin Chase finished that drive off, but you look at what they've done so far. Peter Clark, the tight end, has got a catch. JoJo Bermudez has a catch. They're running the football as well. Getting all of their playmakers involved. I think there's one guy we haven't seen yet touch the football. Keep your eyes out for number 11, Kajaya Holloway. I think they're going to look to get him involved in this drive pretty early on and then really see if they can get the defense off balance.
Handoff on 1st down and not much there. In fact, no gain on the play. Leading the way that time, Shea Taylor. They were thrilled to get the linebacker back this week. He is one of the captains, one of 5 captains on this team. Missed the last ball game against Army. They were limited at both linebacker and safety, and that's not where you want to be limited against a triple option team.
Absolutely not. That's tough sledding against those option offenses.
Pressure coming from the outside. Simon gets rid of it, but not on the same page with the aforementioned Kajaya Holloway. Brings up a 3rd down.
Yeah, the blitz came from Simon's right side, and he looked out to the left. Holloway obviously not in the face of where that pressure is coming from. Perhaps missed the signal, maybe didn't see it, and didn't realize that he was the hot man on that left side.
Third and 9 here. Got to get across the 35-yard line. Evan Simon from the gun. Simon with time, throws to the far sideline, and he's able to connect with Holloway for a 1st down. Coming off a 9-catch, 146-yard game last week against Navy.
Yeah, a career high 146 yards for Holloway, the former quarterback recruit coming out of high school. So you know he understands some of the nuances of how to get himself open. That's a great throw that time by Simon. Had the underneath defender, was able to beat him with the throw, pick up the 1st down.
Fresh set of downs from the Owls from the 35. Got right to the line to gain. This is Hunter Smith on the carry. Smith out across the 40.
One of the things that Charlotte's trying to do to Simon is confuse him with what they're doing, particularly in the back end, whether it's moving from 2 high safeties into a cover 3 kind of look, staying in a cover 2 look, going to single high safety. They want to confuse him with what they're doing man versus zone in that back end.
Second down and 3 coming up. But first, we will take a quarter break. 15 minutes in the books, 7 apiece between Temple, looking to get to 2-1 in the American, and Charlotte trying to pick up their first conference win. It is homecoming in Niners country today. Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte and Temple, 7 apiece after one quarter. Getting close to Halloween, got costumes floating around. Pretty even so far between these two teams. You look at the offensive numbers. Charlotte with an advantage in time of possession. They held the ball for 8:47 in the first quarter of the game today. Temple football, 2nd down and 3 to start this second quarter, and they go on the ground to Hunter Smith. Smith knocked off his feet before picking up the first down. Temple 1 of 2 on 3rd down so far today. 2 weeks ago, the Owls got their American opening win against UTSA. Game they trailed 14-3 at the half. Last week, lost a heartbreaker at home to the Naval Academy. Navy off to a 2-0 start in the American. Evan Simon keeps it on the read option, and he is dropped. Leading the way there, Randy Franklin, the 5th-year senior from Fayetteville, North Carolina, a transfer from Navy.
There you go, the transfer from Navy. He should know how to play this. He does an excellent job, great job rerouting there. He almost overran it, actually, but a good job. Look at the athleticism. He's able to spin back there on the left-hand side of your screen, get his arm around Simon, and bring him down. That's a big-time stop in a big 3rd down situation.
Javen Nicholas is the return man for Charlotte with 4th down and a punting situation coming up. Dante Atten, the Australian punter. What an interesting story. Had never played football before he stepped on the field to punt for Temple.
That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And all he does is produce bombs off of that foot.
He's a product of Pro Kick in Australia. So many punters have come to the United States from Pro Kick Academy.
Meanwhile, it's 7 a.m. in Melbourne where his family is.
Good
So
morning.
shout out to them and good morning.
They were in Philadelphia. Family was a couple of weeks ago. First time they had seen him play in person.
Wow.
Atten averaging 41.5 on his 2 punts today. So Charlotte now with the football and a chance to take the lead. They start things out on the ground with Cameron Smith. Job stringing it out and dropping him for a loss on 1st down.
And for Charlotte, the one thing you don't want to see, it looks like number 68, the left tackle, Jesse Ramil, is waving as if he needs to come out. That's something to keep an eye on if he can stay healthy. He and Mo Clipper, the 2 guys on the left side, have been the 2 guys that have been available all season long on this offensive line.
Inside run. Ariel Cobb with 3 carries in the game.
And Ramil does come off. Looks like he's favoring that left shoulder. So they'll check on him. And Tyler Gibson, number 74, into the game now. Normally plays on the right side.
I'm the one right behind her because I have to.
I think he'll go to right tackle.
Then I have
We've got a lot going on with this offensive line.
And a 3rd and 10 right now. Trying to give Loftus time as he gets to the outside. He'll throw across his body through the hands of Gus McGee. If McGee's able to haul that one in, it's probably enough for the 1st down, but a 3 and out this time for the 49ers.
Yeah, and I think if they both think that he can just kind of sit this route down right there, which it seems like that's what Loftus was doing, it's certainly at the least trying to not throw him into a big hit. Unable to get it completed there, but to your point, that would have been likely an opportunity to pick up a 1st down there.
Look out for the return man, JoJo Bermudez. Dangerous in the open field. Bronson Long set to punt this away. In the season opener against App State, he punted it 6 times, 5 of them for over 50 yards. Bermudez Look at him go. He's across midfield. JoJo Bermudez dropped at the 41-yard line. We told you he's dangerous in the open field, and you see it right there. 7 apiece, Temple ball next. "7-7 our score at Jerry Richardson Stadium alongside Reginald Walker and Smacker Miles. I'm Richard Cross. Glad to have you along. Evan Simon has not thrown an interception this year. Joe Fagnano at UConn leading the way. He had 4 touchdown passes today in the UConn win over Boston College to get to 15 on the year with no picks. Only 1 turnover period, though, this year for the Temple Owls. It was a fumble last week against Navy. Jay Ducker on the carry. He'll take it across the 35. Going to be a yard or 2 short of a first down. Let's check in with Smacker with more on Evan Simon.
Hey, guys. Simon called a players-only meeting on Monday following their to Navy, and he said he's kept his message short and sweet. He said, this hurt isn't gone, so how do we get rid of the pain? We inflicted on another opponent. So Temple should be playing some football today. Regardless of who they play, Simon is an outstanding leader.
Thanks, Smacker. Simon to the air. He's able to find a man, and that is a first down and goal. JoJo Bermudez on the reception. So he had the big punt return, a 30-yard return, and now they hit him on the skinny post.
Yeah, it's a little skinny post or seam route, however you want to phrase it. He just works right out of the slot, up the middle of the field. As soon as he clears those linebackers, they're able to drop it in between the safeties, and that's a nice pickup down to the 5-yard line for Simon and this offense.
Temple looking to retake the lead. They jumped out to a 7-0 advantage. Charlotte was able to answer to tie the game at 7. First and goal from the 5. Pistol formation. Simon looking to go to the air. He's got one-on-one. Was trying to hook up there with Kajaya Holloway and overthrew it.
Yeah, nice coverage out there. I believe that was Gavin Shipman, number 4. Out there in one-on-one coverage and does a nice job there in a one-on-one situation with Holloway, who's about 6'4", 210, 215 pounds. That is well played on the defensive side there.
Second and goal from the 5. Ducker off the right hip. Bermudez, the motion man. Simon keeps it himself, cuts it up into the end zone for a touchdown. Second rushing touchdown of the year for Evan Simon, and now Temple is back in front. Evan Simon on the year, averaging about 3.5 yards per carry. Kind of picks his spots. Read that one beautifully.
Yeah, nice design that time. They used Bermudez to dictate some attention by bringing him on the short motion and then bringing him back to the outside. And then they go with a little bit of a read there on the edge. Simon reads it properly. Just walk-in touchdown.
Short drive that was set up by the 31-yard punt return from JoJo Bermudez. It's a 4-play, 42-yard scoring drive. Temple in front by 7 with 10:22 to go in the second quarter. With about a minute and a half remaining last week, Temple took the lead. A Jay Ducker touchdown run made it 31-24. Just trying to get off the field on 4th and 1. Blake Horvath from 51 yards away, a straight line to the end zone, and then Navy went for 2. They converted. It was 32-31. The final heave from Evan Simon came up empty. That was the heartbreak that Smacker was talking about just a few moments ago. Seemed to have bounced back, and Casey Keeler told us when we visited with him earlier this week, their Tuesday practice may have been the best practice of the entire season.
Yeah, and you love when your team responds like that, right? They go back to work and they give you the best effort, and they're efficient in practice to following a tough loss like that.
Evan Simon, 83 yards and a touchdown so far today. Puts the hat on the sideline, gets a break for a few minutes. 111 yards for Charlotte in the first quarter offensively. think that the Charlotte coaching staff, by and large, has to be pleased with what the offense has done so far today.
No, I think you're absolutely right. They've been able to run the football with some efficiency, and then they've been able to push it down the field with Grayson Loftus in this passing game.
Loftus looking to take a shot here. He's got an open man, and that ball is caught by Derek Ely. A redshirt freshman from Huntersville with a big play down the field.
That's a really nice design. Good route that time by Ely, and a nice throw by Loftus, giving him a chance to go get it. Ely is in the slot to the right side, just kind of runs a little bit of a corner route. They've got to clear out over the top, and he's able to get open and make a grab.
32-yard pass play, but then this one is intercepted. A chance for it to go all the way. On the interception, Adrian Lang with a pick six. And what a momentum swing there. Quick throw, Adrian Lang jumped the route and then took it to the house.
I wonder if this ball might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage to give Lang more time. Maybe not. Maybe it was just a late throw behind Ely. Maybe he missed a check or something there, and Lang was all over it, reading the route, jumps it, and that's a pick six.
Talked just a moment ago about the redshirt freshman Derek Ely. Lang, a redshirt freshman. Out of Bergen, New Jersey, the extra point is good. Carl Harden drives it through the uprights. It's now 21-7 after the big defensive play from Lang. Temple in front 21-7 after a pick six from Adrian Lang. Take another look at the throw from Loftus.
Jameer Jones, number 39, the backup Viper. He's trying to get a piece of that. I'm not sure, Richard, that he was able to. Even if he did, the ball still looked to be a spiral into the hands of Lang. That's just a great job by Lang, playing the football and attacking good team defense there. If nothing else, Jones forced an errant throw there, and you get the pick six.
So the Charlotte offense will come right back onto the field. One of the things that has been a problem this year for Charlotte, they have been outscored in the first half by their opponents by nearly 100 points, 133 to 36 in the first half of games this year.
It's unbelievable. And this is the moment where, how do they respond? And again, a makeshift offensive line. Eli Samples now in there at left tackle. Tyler Gibson in there at right tackle. Two guys that did not start the game necessarily at those positions.
And off this time to Nicholas, trying to get him into space in the open field. Certainly he can make things happen when he has a chance, and he picks up about 5 on first down.
He got hit hard that time by the free safety, Javier Morton, number 15, who's back after missing some time with an injury, back healthy. A guy that they really love in that back end. All 200 pounds of him, the redshirt senior out of Atlanta.
Nicholas in motion, but the handoff instead is to the tailback, and nothing happening there. What a big play that time by Charles Calhoun, the 5th-year senior from Cleveland, Ohio. And now a line change for the Temple defense.
Yeah, Temple defensively, their defensive line, coached by namesake, not relative of, but Cedric Calhoun, the defensive line coach. He's got a load of guys. They go about 9 deep on that defensive line.
Third down pass play, incomplete, and a late flag comes in. Crowd was asking for it, and they got it from an official that was 20 or 30 yards away from the play.
Yeah, they pick on number 19, Jalen Castleberry.
Pass interference, defense, number 19, 15-yard penalty, first down.
By and large, you watch Castleberry on tape, and pretty good player. You see he's got good length at 6 feet, about 195 pounds. Sometimes his eyes get a little dirty, and then in this particular play, he got a little bit handsy, and it cost him that time. There's the 15-yard penalty. So a great opportunity for Charlotte to stay on the field offensively.
Fresh set of downs from their own 45-yard line. Loftus takes a peek to the sideline. McGee's the tight end that's lined up kind of like an H-back. And on the carry, Cobb picks his way out close to midfield, about a yard short, gain a 4 on first down.
That's good patience by the young running back. He started to work a little bit to the right, and then he kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of sat down and waited for a block to set itself up, then a nice little jump cut back to the left, and then gets upfield. That's a nice, simple run that picks up 4 yards. That was a lot more difficult for the average person to do than you would think.
2nd and 6, a yard shy of midfield. Charlotte down 21-7. And Cobb runs into a wall, but then kind of squirts out of it and ends up picking up a couple of yards, brings up 3rd down and manageable.
And I think this is where Cobb's size is kind of helping him out. 5'10", about 185 pounds, not the biggest guy, but he runs with a low pad level, and he can be hard to spot behind this big offensive line. And then all of a sudden he sees a little bit of daylight, and he's able to pop free and pick up a few yards.
Ely motions across the formation. So 2 receivers, top of your screen, 2 at the bottom. Loftus taking a shot down the left sideline, and that ball is caught. Sean Brown hauls it in. Good throw, great catch.
This is really good ball tracking by Sean Brown, and no panic. Watch him run all the way through and dive at the last second. That's a great job reading the football, understanding what that throw is, and a great job by Loftus leading him down the field. That's a nice throw and catch for a big first down.
A 41-yard reception down inside the 10-yard line. I think they're going to take a look to make sure that that was a clean catch for Sean Brown.
I didn't see a whole lot there in terms of why that ball would be ruled incomplete. I thought it was good extension thought he kind of landed on his shoulder and then rolled over. Take another look here.
The ball hit the ground.
Ball does touch the ground, but
did he have complete control as the ball
and
up against the ground?
And remember, you've got to have indisputable visual evidence that he did not make the catch. And by the time you see it there from that angle, that ball is in his arms.
And secure.
And secure. And so I think this comes down to, I don't think you're going to have enough to overturn this call. I just don't see it there. Again, the ball.
And that's the view where it makes you hesitate, but it's almost like he sandwiched it between his forearm and his bicep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I think the biggest key to this is they ruled it a catch on the field. And so the indicators would have to be clear and obvious that he did not catch this football.
As it stands right now, Sean Brown has been a big play guy today. His first catch was for 36. If it stands, this is a 40-yard reception. Waiting on the decision from Kevin Randall.
And if it doesn't stand, number one, the momentum lost by the Charlotte offense and the crowd in this stadium obviously not going to be happy. But the other piece of it is, you know, if you're Charlotte, you've struggled at times a lot offensively throughout the season. How do you respond? Again, it seemed to be a really good response so far after the pick six on this drive. But we'll see what they decide here. If they overturn this, really big blow to this Charlotte offense.
Homecoming at Jerry Richardson Stadium on the campus of Charlotte.
They're starting to walk it back, Richard. I think they may overturn this.
We'll get the official word from Kevin Randall, but yes, the activity on the field.
The receiver did not maintain control of the ball through the process of the catch while going to the ground. By rule, that is an incomplete pass. It will be 4th down at the Temple 49-yard line.
And so instead of 1st and goal from inside the 10, a 4th down play and a huge overturn. Watch the ball. Okay, right there, it's moving. And then as he slides, he's able to lock it up. And boy, he sure tried to sell it and did everything he could.
Yeah, he did everything he possibly could. I thought he made a nice catch. Obviously, the officials, and after they review it, they find out otherwise. And that is tough for Charlotte. That was a huge conversion on 3rd down they thought they had.
Bronson Long sent opponents inside the 25 times this year. Going to try and do that here. This punt hits and will take a Charlotte roll, and it'll go out of bounds inside the 20. Well spotted at the 19-yard line with the Owls in front by 14, and what a momentum swing there.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Charlotte, you felt like you had a chance to go in there, cut into this lead, maybe get it back to a one-possession game, and then all of a sudden you're punting the football. But at the same time, if you're Grayson Loftus, your confidence has to be pretty good. Like you've made some nice throws in this game, 7 of 12, 91. Yes, the pick six happened. But other than that, I thought he's been really, really good with the football. He's been fairly accurate for the most part as well. Just didn't get that one to stick from Sean Brown.
Significant drive here for Charlotte's defense. Don't need to dig the hole any deeper. Simon trying to set up a screen, just threw that one into the dirt.
Yeah, he had Shea Taylor, number 35, right in his chest as he shares a laugh after obviously something said to him by Shea Taylor, likely, I was going to get you. And they go ahead and they're forced to line up again on 2nd and long.
Trying to get it to the tight end, Daniel Evert, on the play. Now flips it out to Evert, who stays in at the tight end. And he's wrestled down. And that is gain of about 5. Going to bring up a 3rd down for the Owls.
That's a nice physical hit there by Cary Grant. Comes up and lays a big hit on the big tight end there. And you look at this tight end room from Temple.
It's impressive.
They're all 6'4 plus. They're all 235, 240 plus. bunch of humongous human beings.
Temple 1 of 3 on 3rd down. Evan Simon with time. He throws to one of those tight ends. 84 on the catch. It's Evert once again. And Daniel Evert did not have a catch on the season coming into this game. It had been Peter Clark. It had been Ryder Cush.
And how about this? He's out of Germany. So you got England covered. You got Germany covered. You got British Columbia covered, so that's Canada. And you got a kid out of California in that tight end room.
Some people would say it's a country of its own.
There you go.
Evan
United
Simon
Nations.
out to the right side. Positive yardage on 1st down. That's pretty good. 4 countries in one position for
I guess the positive for that is 3 of them speak English. Only 1 you have to learn German.
Temple has had international flavor on its team for a lot. They've got guys from a bunch of different countries scattered around the world. I don't know if that's going to continue to be the case. When Casey Keeler talks about his recruiting philosophy going forward, he said the focus is going to be on the Mid-Atlantic region. Jaya Holloway on the catch there out to the 44-yard line. He says he wants to go north to New York, south to Washington, D.C., give or take, and wants to go west to about Ohio. And that is their recruiting base. And there are a lot of football players in that region.
Yeah, and a lot of short flights to get to Philadelphia as well. So that makes it a little bit easier on the families to get to football games as well.
Said they'll dip into Texas and Georgia and Florida as needed, but wants that to be supplementary, not the base for the recruiting. Kevion Mason on the carry there.
Something tells me there's another thing that he's going to dip into on a regular basis. That's called the transfer portal. I think everybody's doing that.
But even in doing so,
yeah,
kind of targeting a specific region, guys that maybe are wanting to get back closer to home.
That's exactly right. And I think that's going to be a big key for a program like Temple.
You know, there are a couple of teams in this league, in the American, that have done a lot of that. UTSA is one of them. Bringing kids back home to Texas. Tulane is another. So many good players in that greater New Orleans area.
Absolutely.
That for one reason or another leave and decide they want to be back closer to home.
Absolutely. I think Coach Traylor, who you mentioned down at UTSA, does an excellent job of that. He's one of those guys. He was a Texas high school coach, so he knows like everybody in the state of Texas. So those kids, if they want to come back home or come back to that sort of mid-South Texas area in San Antonio, there's an opportunity. And as you mentioned, Louisiana, you mentioned the greater New Orleans area. There's good players all the way up to Shreveport, Louisiana. Ton of talent.
3rd down and 11. Tulane has had an average of 5 yards to go on 3rd down. It looks like Casey Keeler and Temple are going to take a timeout here.
That's their first. It'll be 30 seconds.
First timeout of the half taken by Temple.
You know, you mentioned the recruiting base for Casey Keeler and the Texas piece of it. Remember, he was at Sam Houston State, right, and had a ton of success. One of the things that I thought was amazing that Casey Keeler did is that was an FCS program, and they moved up to FBS. And that first year they struggled. They started,
it was hard.
I think they were 0-7 before they ended up winning a game, maybe even more than that. And then the next year they win double-digit games because of his ability to turn that roster over, turn over the mentality to understand who they were competing against and have a ton of success. I remember seeing them play at Liberty on the road, came down to the last drive. Liberty made 4 consecutive plays on the goal line to beat a winless Sam Houston team led by Casey Keeler. They bounced back the next year.
3rd and 11 for Temple. Evan Simon 2 of 2 for 19 yards and a pair of first downs on 3rd down throws, make it 3 for 3. They're going to mark it just short of the first down. Picked up 10 on the play, needed 11, maybe 10 and a half on the play. And the offense stays on the field for the Owls.
Yeah, look at Simon just kind of navigate the pocket. Nice throw there. and Holloway had just kind of worked his way up near the sticks. And then as the ball came out of Simon's hands to help his quarterback, works his way back to the football to make that catch. But unfortunately, it created a 4th and short.
Colin Chase in motion, the give. Just enough, it appears, for the first down to Kevion Mason.
Caden Schmitz did a nice job coming up off of that right side of the defense. He thought he made the play in the backfield, unable to do so. You'll see it again here. Caden Schmitz kind of loops around Shea Taylor, and he thought he had a chance to make that play in the backfield, was unable to do so. But it doesn't matter. We're at the 2-minute timeout. Temple leads 21-7 with the ball.
Dragon in the house, I think. 21-7, Temple in front of Charlotte. 2 minutes left in this opening half. How about this? You got the hockey sweater for the ski and snowboard club in Charlotte. Coming up at halftime, we'll send you to Maria Tribal Peace in Studio A for some of the top plays and performances in the American over the past week, plus first half highlights and stats. But right now, it's Temple trying to add to a lead, 21-7. The Owls are in front. Going for it, first down play. Simon with a deep shot. He's got a man. He's got a touchdown. Holloway hauls it in. His third receiving touchdown of the season, Kalijah Holloway.
He's going to work up that right sideline, and watch Simon off the play action, and he's just waiting for it to open up. It's a one-on-one situation. I think that's Kerry Grant.
Yep.
Check that. Looks like maybe number 8, Derek Edwards there. They just beat him one-on-one up the sideline.
Well, you know that Evan Simon likes his guy, Kalijah Holloway, in a one-on-one. The extra point is good. That drive, 10 plays, 81 yards. Simon went 6 of 7 through the air, took almost 5 minutes off the clock. There was a 4th down conversion in there as well.
Yeah, Holloway's at the top of the screen. It's just a one-on-one, a little stop and go, so a little double move. And he gets Edwards to drop the hips and sit down, and then blows right by him with that speed. And Simon drops it in the bucket. One-on-one situation, got to trust your guy. Great design. They caught him in man coverage, and Holloway wins the battle. Those are the things that are tough to deal with. You get some of these double moves. If you've been aggressive coming up the field, you've seen a lot of shorter routes. All of a sudden, you see a guy like Holloway, and what I think he does really well at 6'4", when he gets ready to drop into that move, he drops the hips well enough that it looks like he's really sitting down on the route. That freezes the defensive back, and then he's able to get back to top speed quickly, beats him over the top.
Holloway, 4 catches, 73 yards, and that 46-yard touchdown. Derek Ely is the deep man to return. It's going to be a touchback. It was against Rice when Connor Harrell had a knee injury. Had played well in the opening few games of the season. That hit, he immediately grabs the left knee, had to be helped off the field. Turned out it was a major one. ACL, MCL, all the ligaments. Long recovery process for Connor Harrell, the transfer from North Carolina, who was playing pretty well.
He really was playing well. He was leading his team the right way, and they thought they had a chance to really continue to improve and pick up some wins, and they lose him early.
Loftus has got some room, cuts it up the field. A flag comes in back around the line of scrimmage. We'll see if this one is coming back, and it looks like another offensive lineman that is slow getting up. In fact, it is. That is
Tyler Gibson, the
Holding,
guy who's
offense, number 55, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
guy who actually didn't start the game and had to come in. And now, so number 75, Christos Fernandez, who's a little bit banged up, and they didn't think he'd potentially be able to play at all today. Obviously, in an emergency situation, he's going to have to come in. You see Gibson right here in the middle of your screen playing that right tackle, gets rolled up on.
Yeah. Fernandez was in a boot yesterday. Able to come in, though, and slide into that right tackle spot. They dump it out of the backfield on the catch that time. Jariel Cobb. Long way to go still after the holding penalty.
Charlotte, that's their first.
And a timeout taken by Charlotte to preserve some clock. A minute 28 until the half.
I think that's one of the things, right? You look at these two teams and the records are what they are and all those different things. But one of the constants, Temple has started the same group on the offensive line the entire season.
Yeah.
Charlotte has not had a chance to start the same group in consecutive games all season long. That is an impactful piece of building a consistent offense. You got different communication in there. You got guys moving to different spots. That's a lot of different aspects, a lot of different moving parts with this offensive line. Just been ravaged by injuries so far this season.
Temple got a little healthier this week. They picked up Lewis Fry. He plays that Viper position. And they picked Javier Morton back up. A couple of guys that have been banged up and missed last week. They are without Sekou Chroma this week, the defensive end. Guy that's got 3 sacks on the year. Loftus steps up, able to avoid the hit, and he completes it over the middle for a good gain to Jalen Nicholas. Brings up a third and manageable out across the 30. Need to take it across the 35-yard line to pick up a first down.
That's a nice job by Nicholas adjusting to the football, and then the pressure came off the right side against right tackle Dallas Shirley, who started this game at center. Now Drew Cunningham at the center spot.
3rd down and 4. Charlotte 2 of 6 on 3rd down. This ball is, did he get the pick? No. Off the hands of the intended receiver, was trying to get it that time to Nicholas. And nearly had a pick off the off the deflection for Osweke.
Yeah, there you see the deflection, and Osweke just can't quite get there to pick that ball off. That would have been huge for Temple with 55 seconds to go, getting the ball in plus territory.
Second time that Charlotte has gone 3 and out. Now they will punt it away. Actually, it's a fake punt, and it's a good one. Out across midfield to the 40, and finally down to the, about 35-yard line. That was the up-back Connor Adair, a redshirt freshman tight end from Warrenton, Virginia.
Connor Adair, nice job working to the left side. And look at his speed by the big guy. His older brother, Andrew Adair, part of this program as well. Obviously not healthy and playing today.
And I'm going to be honest with you, a little surprising to see that. Tim Albin told us they had 15 new players playing on special teams this week because of the number of injuries. They play a lot of frontline guys. Here's a one-on-one down the sideline, incomplete. A lot of contact. Trying to go to Sean Brown on the big play.
Yeah, I thought there was a great deal of contact down there too. Surprised not to see a flag. There was a lot of hand fighting going on. And wow, I think, so what it looks like they're doing is maybe they're gonna give Osweke credit for getting his header out. See, he's face guarding there, and then his head comes around really, really late. I think Osweke gets away with one there. That probably should have been pass interference, if for nothing else, face guarding initially on that particular play.
Mo Clipper is on the sidelines right now, one of the offensive linemen. Here Loftus going to pull it down and try to run. Ball comes out, and it is recovered by Avery Powell. The strong safety saw the loose ball on the ground. Does not scoop and score, but he does cover it up and get the ball back for Temple with 33 seconds until the half.
That's fortunate for Charlotte because he had a convoy of guys with him. If he does scoop this and score, or if he scoops it, he's definitely going to score. That's just a nice play. That's Allen Hay Jr., number 8, retracing his steps, the extra effort to get back and knock that football away. Watch big number 8 works his way back to the football and makes that play. And Powell, when he goes back to look at the film, he's going to be sick because he had KJ Miles out in front that would have been able to lead the way for him to potentially get to the end zone.
28-7, 33 seconds left until the half. Temple does have 2 timeouts remaining. It was almost like Loftus saw the hit that was coming. It looked like he was trying to kind of get over to cover the ball up and just couldn't do so quickly enough.
Absolutely right. You see Casey Keeler there. He's going to stay right next to that line judge and try to use those timeouts judiciously here in this hurry-up offense situation.
Veteran quarterback in Evan Simon, 3 years at Rutgers in his 2nd year with Temple, and he completes this one across midfield to Holloway. Clock stops with the first down.
I love that mindset for Temple. Use the middle of the field as long as you're getting first downs, and the clock stops momentarily.
Simon goes down, and Temple will have to take a timeout. Good pressure that time by the defensive front for Charlotte. Jalen Johnson, the defensive end, gets credit with the sack. That's his first sack of the year.
Yeah, this is just a nice job. He's working on that left side against the left tackle, Jacoby Hills, number 71, and he just beats him with speed around the edge. Jalen Johnson, one of the many that have migrated from Northwest Mississippi Community College to this Charlotte program.
In the neighborhood of where I live, Senatobia, Mississippi, they have been a power for a long time in junior college football.
That's a big play for Charlotte defensively to be able to get that kind of a play in this situation to slow down potential momentum for this Temple offense. And to get back to the point, I think this is one of the things that is kind of forgotten in late quarter or late half or late game situations. When you're trying to play your 2-minute offense and you're in the hurry up, in college football, the clock stops if you move the chains. Don't be afraid to use the middle of the field.
2nd and 18 here after the timeout for Temple with 21 seconds remaining until the half. And a couple of safeties up high trying to prevent the big play. Simon steps up. He's going to take off and run. Evan Simon trying to get to the sideline. He'll go out of bounds at the 45. We'll bring up 3rd down and about 7. Now, if you're thinking about the kick, Carl Harden has got a big leg. His season long is 45. Casey Keeler, though, told us that he's got a range that stretches out beyond 60. There is a little bit of breeze into the face of the direction that Temple is heading. 14 seconds remaining. Simon off his back foot, throws it away.
He just does not panic. He's so unflappable back there in the pocket. He look, nothing there, understands they're working against the clock here. Throw it away. Don't take a sack. Don't do anything catastrophic. Throw it away, live to fight another down. In this case, they're going to punt the football.
A couple of other games going on in the American right now. North Texas leading it over UTSA in the 2nd quarter. UAB has a late 2nd quarter lead over Memphis. First game for UAB without Trent Dilfer as the head coach. We've seen a lot of movement with head coaches earlier than we're used to this season. Halftime score here at Jerry Richardson Stadium. At least we think it's halftime, but perhaps not.
The officials blowing some whistles.
Kevin Randall said we may have one play left. Charlotte guys were headed to the locker room.
Please reset the game clock to 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
They're going to say 2 seconds on the clock here. Charlotte potentially looking to get to the locker room here just to get a chance to get on the same page and figure out who the 5 on the offensive line are going to be for this second half and stop some of this Temple momentum. Going to have to play these 2 seconds.
You content to take a knee here, or you take a shot? Charlotte will get the ball to start the second half.
No, I think you take a knee here and just get to the locker room and kind of regroup, get your football team reorganized.
Charlotte on the ball, ready to go. Temple's defense will now join the party. Last 4 possessions for the 49ers. Punt, interception, punt, fumble. And remember, it looked like you had the big catch that was overturned. Loftus will take a knee, and our halftime margin is 3 touchdowns. Evan Simon in the first half, 12 of 16 for 176 yards and a pair of scores. Loftus, 9 of 16 for 107 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and a costly late fumble. Casey Keeler making his way over to Smacker Miles. Smacker, take it away.
Coach, you finished the 2nd quarter strong. How do you continue that momentum in the 2nd half?
Yeah, a little sloppy play. Obviously, the pick 6 was huge for us. They're throwing a lot of bombs right now. We have to be prepared that we're going to get a lot of balls in the air. Offense has been pretty solid. We just got to keep on trying to get some drives together. We take some time off the clock.
How do you get those drives together?
Yeah, no, it's just consistency. You know, we're not running the ball as well as we have in the past. Got to be better on first down with the run game and get some positive yards. Sets up a lot easier second down. So right now they're doing a really good job. We busted a couple runs, but they've done a pretty good job containing our run.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
274 career wins for Casey Keeler, trying to get to 275. His team in front by 3 scores. Halftime in Charlotte, it's Temple 28, 49ers 7. It's halftime here between the Temple Owls and the Charlotte 49ers. Let's send you to Studio A and Maria Tribal Piece.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal Piece. It was a busy week for football in the American. There were games on 3 different days, which means that there were plays in a variety of different ways. But before we talk about football, let's start on the soccer pitch. South Florida taking on Stetson. We've featured Jaheim Wickham plenty of times before because he can make saves like this one. Memphis women's soccer could clinch a berth to the American Championship with a victory. So Ai Kitagawa puts the team on her back and scores. Tigers win this one. Let's head over to Philadelphia. The Owls up at the half and also late in the game. Navy, though, trying to come away with the victory. Horvath to Alex Teska. The midshipmen go for 2 and get it. They also become bowl eligible. Top play number 2 is a special one because it features multiple teams. This is South Florida, but it's not Byron Brown throwing the football. That's Christian Neptune, a wide receiver throwing to another receiver in Keyshawn Singleton for the touchdown. Here's another one. Easton Messer, receiver again, firing that ball to his counterpart, Jay Sean Platt. Owls score the touchdown. It took a total team effort for play number 1, UTSA's Jimmy Wyrick. He'll make a big hit, ball pops up, Kendrick Blackshire grabs it and scores. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag #AmericanTopPlays on social. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
Welcome back to Charlotte, North Carolina, halftime between Temple and the Charlotte 49ers. The American on ESPN Plus is home to over 40 college football games, 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. Now let's send you to Maria in Studio A.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribalpiece. It's time for American's Best, where we honor the top performers in men's soccer, women's soccer, volleyball, and football. Let's take a look at who we have this week. The Defensive Player of the Week in football is South Florida's Jalen Schuler. Schuler finished with 8 tackles, a tackle for loss, and a quarterback hurry. He was also part of 2 key turnovers in South Florida's 63-36 win at previously unbeaten North Texas. Schuler had a 31-yard interception return and contributed to the scoring with a 34-yard fumble for a touchdown in the third quarter, giving the Bulls a 42-21 lead. The Offensive Player of the Week in volleyball is Charlotte's Jessica Ricks. Ricks helped guide the 49ers to a pair of conference wins over Florida Atlantic and Temple, averaging 4.88 points per set while also hitting .245 on the weekend. The men's soccer Freshman of the Week is South Florida's Jakob Obi. Obi scored a goal in the 3-2 win over Stetson while adding 2 shots on goal in the 2-1 win at FIU. The women's soccer goalkeeper of the week is Tulsa's Tatum Sanders. Sanders recorded 9 saves in 2 matches, allowing only 1 goal. The senior made 4 saves in a 1-0 shutout of UAB on Thursday, before saving 5 shots in a 1-1 draw with North Texas on Sunday. For more on the American's Weekly Awards, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
Second half action between Temple and Charlotte is just moments away. Alongside Reginald Walker and Smacker Miles, I'm Richard Cross. We've got first half highlights and the second half kickoff when we come back to Charlotte. You're watching The American on ESPN. Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful October Saturday afternoon, evening just around the corner. Temple trying to pick up its second American win. They lead at 28-7 at the half. Alongside Reginald Walker, I'm Richard Cross. Smacker Miles is on the sideline. And this was a tight game early. Teams traded scores early in the ball game. It felt like the first half changed on an overturned catch for Sean Brown for Charlotte.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. When that play happened, it looked like Charlotte was going in with an opportunity to put up some more points. Sean Brown, the big ball down the left sideline for this offense going towards the building where the locker rooms are. And the juice was into this place. And then it gets overturned. And all of a sudden you see Charlotte maybe not respond as well to the adversity. But it was a really solid defensive first half for Temple.
Temple got after it on the defensive line. You saw Charlotte look like they wanted to try establish the run early, not able to do so. Pretty good coverage in the pass game as well. But this is a good defensive line.
It really is a good defensive group. They rotate about 8 or 9 guys in it as well. So the consistency at the play at which they get Allen Hay Jr. right there, works his way back, causes a fumble. You look at this first half, it comes down to the 2 turnovers, a pick 6 and then a fumble. And then obviously we talk about some big plays. And then in the second quarter, Temple's offense, because they were able to get more and more opportunities, there you see the pick 6. That was the beginning of the deluge, if you will, by Temple in that second quarter. And then the big ball down the sideline.
Evan Simon hooking up with Kajaya Holloway for the big touchdown, 28-7, the halftime score. We'll take a look at some numbers coming up in just a little bit. Charlotte going to get the ball to start this second half, and they need points.
They need points, and they need them in a hurry, and they need somebody to make a big individual play to help ignite this football team. Hopefully, if you're Tim Albin, you can respond to some adversity here.
So Charlotte will start from the 25. You see the ground game for the 49ers. They actually outrushed Temple in the first half, 91-63. Part of that coming on the fake punt. 176 through the air. Not a lot of penalties. 2 turnovers loom large, though, for Charlotte in that first half. First down play, Loftus on the ground. The give is to Jariel Cobb for a short gain on first down. Let's check in with Smacker Miles.
Hey guys, I talked to Coach Albin coming out of the locker room, and he told me the 49ers have to finish drives offensively. He said that their offensive line has been like musical chairs, and they really need someone to step up. They're going to stick with Grayson at quarterback, and they have to avoid those turnovers.
All right, thank you, Smacker. Good visit with Tim Albin yesterday in his first year as the head coach of the 49ers. Left a stable program where they were coming off a conference championship at Ohio University a year ago. This pass incomplete. Big hit there as Jalen Castleberry came over, and there's a Charlotte player that is down.
It's Javen Nicholas, number 5. And
certainly he is important to this Charlotte offense. Probably the best playmaker that they've got that has been able to stay healthy for the most part this year. With the injured player, we've got a timeout on the field, I think. Nicholas able to come off on his own power.
Nicholas, you see right there, boom, takes a big hit right there from Castleberry. It was tough, and he was able to pop up and run off the field. And one thing about that particular throw, and I don't mean to throw him under the bus here, but Loftus was late with that throw. And if he throws that ball a little bit earlier, Nicholas is able to catch that ball right where he is, potentially spin back to the inside and pick up more yards, but at the very least, he makes a catch and it's likely a first down. Loftus got to be a little bit quicker with the football in that particular situation.
Charlotte 2 of 7 today on third down. They've got a 3rd and 7 right here. Loftus looking for a completion, steps up, gets away from pressure, and then throws it incomplete. That was at the feet of the intended receiver, Miles Burris, and so it's a 3 and out for the 3rd time today for Charlotte as the punt team comes on.
Number 25, Cameron Stewart. You and I were talking about him yesterday as we got ready for this game. Cameron Stewart, really good pass rusher. He came off of that defensive left side that time toward Grayson Allen's right, or Grayson Loftus, I shouldn't say Grayson Allen, that right side, and really forced him to step up into that pocket, made him uncomfortable, and forced the incompletion.
Well, it wasn't just us talking about Cameron Stewart. It was also Todd Fitch, the offensive coordinator for Charlotte. Said we've got to identify 25 and make sure that we're protecting the quarterback. Be a delay of game on Charlotte here. We talked about how many new starters or new special teams guys they have this week. It may have had some trouble getting the exact right group on that time. But in talking with Tim Albin, we asked, why? Why do you leave Ohio and the MAC coming off a conference championship? And He said in the interview process he really was sold on the vision moving forward here at Charlotte. Sharon Gaber, the chancellor at the university, he said she is a strong woman with a strong vision for the future of not just this athletics department, but the university itself. Got a timeout on the field. We'll take it as well. 28-7, Temple with the lead and the ball when we come back.
Team up for Niners for a call.
Temple with the opportunity to kick a couple of monkeys off its back today. They've not won a road conference game since 2019. Wow. They've not won 4 games in a season since 2019. 21 straight road conference losses. The last time they had 4 more wins in a season, that 2019 season when they went 8-5. Evan Simon in the Temple offense back out on the field. It's Jay Ducker on the ground, and Ducker breaking tackles all the way out to the 48-yard line, close to midfield. Evan Simon came into the game today completing 61% of his passes on the year. 13 touchdowns, no interceptions today, 12 of 16. That's 75%, I think.
Yeah, that's good math.
That math checks out?
That math checks out.
176 yards, 2 scores, no picks.
The SEC and the Big Ten agree on that math.
There we go. One of the few things that the perhaps SEC and Big Ten agree on.
Playoff format, exit stage left. Looks like the umpire there, Tony Barriel, was a little maybe shaken up there in the middle of the play there. See it right here. He's trying to get out of Dodge, but you are in no man's land, my friend. Uh-oh. Gets a little leg whip there. That cannot feel good. Travion McGee got him.
Shins be a little sore after that one. Whew. Fresh set of downs for Temple, leading by 3 scores, up 28-7. On the ground again, Ducker straight ahead. Ducker bounces it to the outside. He gets down to the 30. Ducker to the 20. He's got a blocker there. Tiptoeing along the sideline. He gets all the way down to the 6-yard line.
210 pounds of Jay Ducker, bowling ball, difficult to bring down, shows it right here. The redshirt senior out of Omaha, look at him make a nice cut. Now, right here, here's the key. J.Q. Conley, number 6, and number 1, Caleb Curtin, end up getting tangled up. They both go down. And then Kajaya Holloway doing a nice job trying to block down the field. Springs him for a few extra yards as well. Nice run there by Ducker. The one player Casey Keeler brought with him from Sam Houston to Temple, said he's a different kind of guy. He's the right guy to set the tone. He's done that so far this season.
44 yards on the carry for Ducker. Simon looking toward the end zone, gets it to his tight end who fights his way, able to break the plane for a Temple touchdown. That is Peter Clark with his 4th touchdown catch of the year. 3 trips into the red zone today, 3 touchdowns for the Temple Owls, who now lead at 34-7.
Easy little route out in the flat, and then Peter Clark says, I'm just too big, too strong. 265-plus pounds. You're not keeping me out of the end zone. Fights his way in. Touchdown Owls.
Peter Clark, not a big yards after catch guy. You talked earlier about the catch radius and the great hands. That time, though, able to get that big body across the plane. They are reviewing it to make sure that the ball did indeed break the plane. As it stands right now, it's a 3-play touchdown drive. They have confirmed it, and so the touchdown will stand. 3 plays, 68 yards, a minute 41 off the clock.
And 60 of those yards on this drive came from the legs of Jay Ducker. And then Peter Clark, who, by the way, I have to shout this out because, as you know, I'm a junior. So I'm an all-suffix team guy. Peter Clark is the 3rd. So we got to shout out Peter Clark the 3rd on that one. Very regal on that touchdown catch.
Thanks, Junior. You see the American Conference standings, 4 teams still undefeated. Tulane added a win to their left-hand column earlier today. And UAB, Charlotte, and Tulsa still looking for their first wins in conference play.
Speaking of that, look at the scoreboard around this league right now.
How about UAB?
How about UAB at halftime, 17-14 with Memphis. UTSA trailing by just 3 against a North Texas ball club that finally suffered their first loss against South Florida last week.
Mentioned earlier, Trent Dilfer out as the head coach at UAB. Blazers were a 3+ touchdown underdog today, and yet lead at halftime against Memphis. Fair catch called for and made. Talked about coaches moving around. There was an announcement that surprised a lot of people earlier this week here in Charlotte, and that was that Mike Hill, the athletics director, was out after 7 years. Mike Hill, highly respected in the athletic administration community. He was a long-time number 2 kind of deputy AD at the University of Florida before taking this job here in Charlotte. Responsible for hiring Tim Albin. It's a much different world in athletics administration than it was just a few years ago.
Also got the upcoming and / ongoing, I should say, stadium renovation off the ground as well.
Loftus taking a shot down the middle of the field. He's got a man, but it's incomplete. In coverage that time, Jalen Johnson had the hit at the end that jarred it loose, trying to once again go big play to Sean Brown.
Yeah, nice job back there in the coverage. Ben Osweke stays with it on the back end and rakes that ball out of there. Dante Pollard was coming over from his other safety spot as well to try to render some assistance. And they've been looking for Brown deep in this game, haven't been able to connect consistently.
This time on the ground for a gain of 5. Rod Gainey Jr. See, Gave him the suffix credit there.
That suffix it's all over the place now.
Did not play in the first half. He comes in and gets the carry, picks up 5 yards. Gainey, the leading rusher. That carry took him over 200 yards for the season. He's got 1 rushing touchdown. Another 3rd down coming up for Charlotte. They're 2 of 8 today. Pressure, and down goes Loftus. Tried to kind of step up in the pocket there, and it was almost like a secondary rush.
Yeah, he stepped right into the chest of an extra player there that was downhill and blew that play up. This defensive line, they've done a really nice job today, particularly against the run. Cedric Calhoun, the defensive line coach, does an excellent job. Came over from Rice with obviously their defensive coordinator, Brian Smith, and that was a big get for Brian Smith to bring Coach Calhoun with him. And you can see the improvement by this Temple defensive line, which is largely the same as we saw last season.
Tyrese Whitaker able to come up with the sack. Charlene Miles in the middle, a proud mom with the custom jersey. She has not one but 2 sons in this game, KJ for Temple and Xavier for Charlotte. For more, let's check in with Smacker.
Guys, both players are defensive tackles and were 4-star recruits coming out of high school. Xavier is playing for Charlotte. It's his first start, and his mom, Miss Charlene, was really excited about that. KJ is also on the defensive line for Temple. It's their first time playing each other, and they have 25 family members in attendance. His mom, Charlene, is in a split jersey, and their dad, Keith, is switching his jersey every possession for whichever defense is on the field. I love the dedication.
That's good stuff. So Dad in the Charlotte jersey right now.
But I have a question for you, Smacker. Did you get a chance to ask Mom what was the grocery bill? You got 2 sons, over 600 pounds total. What was the grocery bill when they were in high school?
Mom was a joy to talk to. She had a lot of fun talking about their competition, and they would have been on the same team in high school at one point, but one of them was injured that season. And then beyond that, the 2.5-year age gap was the reason that they never played.
Travion McGee and Ty Baldwin collide with each other on what should have been an interception for Charlotte, an underthrown ball that time. David Conley actually coming over. I beg your pardon. I think I said Ty Baldwin. JQ Conley. You get a look at Mr. Miles in green. Xavier Miles, redshirt sophomore out of Orange, New Jersey, transferred into Charlotte from Syracuse.
Can you imagine the trash talking that these guys had this week coming into this game?
This ball batted into the air. That time it was Ty Baldwin who got a hand on it, knocked it away, and it's going to force Temple to punt, forcing fourth down play.
It's a really nice play that time by Baldwin. Those are some difficult plays when you're trying to get across and knock that football away and also avoid any kind of pass interference, getting that arm on a guy's hip. So really well executed that time by Baldwin. Baldwin from the venerable 757 area, Hampton, Virginia, Phoebus High School.
Low lining punt that takes a big Temple roll inside the 10, all the way down to the 4-yard line. That was not the prettiest punt from Dante Atten, but incredibly effective.
Was it Australian rules football kind of a deal there?
Well, and he does. The rugby punt is part of it, but he can also kick it straight on. All right, pursuit of perfection. Best chance to reach the playoffs undefeated. Ohio State at 36%. You've got the Memphis Tigers trailing at halftime. Oh, that big X. Louisville had something to say about this last night. Miami dropping one at home. Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions. The percent chance to make it to the playoffs undefeated no longer on the table for the Miami Hurricanes. Memphis tied for the current longest active winning streak in college football. Both the Tigers and the Ohio State Buckeyes have won 10 in a row.
Tigers trailing 17-14 at UAB, as you mentioned right now, at the half.
Navy's won 9 straight. We've got Ole Miss having won 8 in a row. They currently lead 28-26 over Georgia. A game in which neither defense has kept the other team from scoring at all today.
Two defenses that really are maybe not as good as last season, but I think particularly for Ole Miss, better than I think people may have assumed they'd be this year because of what they lost. But that offense, listen, anytime, I think Lane Kiffin is easily one of the top 1 or 2 play callers in the country with what he can do offensively.
Third down coming here, 3rd and 9 for Charlotte. Trying to get out of the shadow of their own goalpost. Shadows have overtaken about half the field here at Jerry Richardson Stadium. Loftus lets it fly, floats it toward the sideline, incomplete. And another 3 and out for this 49ers offense. And the big concern for Charlotte coming into this ball game was how their offensive line could hold up. It's been injury riddled. They've had to move guys around a lot. Start to the game was okay. Right now a 4-score lead for Temple with 9:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. Wobbly kick taken by Bermudez with a head of steam. They get a shoestring tackle to keep that from being a bigger return. Temple with great field position after this timeout. Owls in front, 35-7.
College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
Those on-campus games to start the College Football Playoff. 1 on Friday night, 3 on Saturday, December 19th and 20th. And you go to the quarterfinal sites, get into the semis, and that national championship game down in South Florida.
I think it has added such a dimension to what the college football season is consistently every year.
Jay Ducker on the carry on first down. He'll pick up 3. Brings up 2nd and 7. Richard Cross, Reginald Walker Jr. and Smacker Miles with you from Jerry Richardson Stadium in Charlotte. Saturday afternoon turning into Saturday evening. Ducker in the backfield alongside Evan Simon. That's Clark, the tight end, in motion. The give is to Ducker, and he bounces it to the outside and then had his legs go out from under him. I think he just slipped there.
Yeah, he gave you one of those fists to the turf as if to say, stay up, stay up. But Ducker has been more than solid. 7 carries, well now 8 carries, 97 carries, 91 yards, I should say. Really, really solid in this game, about 13 yards a carry, which is a lot. He had a couple of big runs, including a 44-yarder on an earlier drive here in this third quarter.
Ducker has not gotten into the end zone today. Blitz coming. Simon floats it out, trying to get it to Ducker on a little quick wheel right route. Did not have time to let that one develop.
No, it was a double A-gap blitz. It looked like with Reed Williford and Gavin Willis, number 40 and number 13 respectively, the linebackers. They come right up the middle. Williford gets a piece of Simon, forces him to throw it away, and Gavin Willis is right there. Simon knew where to go with the football, but had to put a little bit extra on that ball to get rid of it, and it goes incomplete, and it sets up a 4th down.
4th and 5, offense on the field. A 35-7 lead for Temple. Evan Simon from the gun. Throws quickly, and he finds his reliable tight end, Peter Clark, the tight end, just enough for a Temple first down.
I was getting ready to say that was a perfect opportunity to get Carl Harden, the kicker, out there with that big leg, but Coach Keeler says, you know what? There's no benefit in that. If we miss, we give up field position. Let's go for it. Feel confident in our offense. Tyler Walker's been dialing it up really well, the offensive coordinator, throughout this game, and let's go get a first down. Keep the football and keep chewing into this clock.
Tyler Walker, the offensive coordinator, came over from FCS Montana State. Ducker on the ground. Makes a couple of guys miss. Now a straight line and a shoestring tackle. A touchdown saving tackle. Ducker thought he was headed for the end zone.
Yeah, he made Dwight Boodle, the second, number 11. He made him miss in a rather rude way, if you will.
Ooh.
Right there. And then another step through against number 0, Randy Franklin. A couple of DBs that are looking for their ankles right now.
Boodle, to his credit, stayed with the play and got the shoestring tackle that saved the touchdown. 4th red zone trip of the game for Temple. They are 3 for 3 so far with 3 touchdowns. Simon flips it out to Ducker, lowers his head, and he is tackled at the 1-yard line.
Gavin, is that Reed Williford? That's Reed Williford, not Gavin Willis. Reed Williford coming off a 17-tackle game last week. Hadn't seen much of him throughout this game, but right there shows up well. Good pursuit, big hit, and keeps Ducker out of the end zone.
The 17 tackles last week for Williford, second most in a game ever by a player for Charlotte. He also had 12 solo stops, which was tied for first.
Defense,
Ducker walks into the end zone for a Temple touchdown, and the Owls are pouring it on.
You feel like that was Coach Keeler giving Ducker an opportunity to get in the end zone because of all the work he had done throughout the game.
Jay Ducker, been a big part of the offense today. He's over 100 yards rushing, averaging almost 13 yards per carry. Hurt his yards per carry average, but I bet he's glad to have the touchdown beside his name.
Absolutely.
5th rushing touchdown of the season, 3rd in the last 2 games for Jay Ducker. Last week against Navy in the loss, had 97 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Extra point is good, and it is now 42-7. Temple rolling on the road today in Charlotte, North Carolina.
How about Jay Ducker? We talked about he's the one guy that came over with Coach Keeler from Sam Houston. 9 carries, 114 yards, 12.7 yards a carry. He's been the bell cow out of that backfield for this football team today. He's played a great game.
On that last drive, 38 yards covered for Temple. 27 rushing yards and 5 receiving yards.
So 32 of 38 yards. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, the earlier drive, remember, he had 60 yards rushing, and then they had the 8-yard touchdown. I think that was Simon's touchdown run. So Ducker leading the way on a couple of scoring drives. In terms of the yardage, that time he gets to finish it off himself.
Carl Harden will kick it away, and it's going to be another touchback, taking 3 yards into the end zone. There was a thought coming into this game that we would see both quarterbacks, and it looks like that's going to be the case now. Zach Wilkie, the redshirt junior from Hernando, Mississippi, started his college career at Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, transferred then to Northwest Mississippi Community College. Last year at Northwest, over 1,650 passing yards and 13 touchdowns.
He's a little bit more of the wiggle, if you will, of the 2 quarterbacks in terms of being able to run the football. And right away he comes in and gets a quick completion to Javen Nicholas.
And a 15 on the carry.
Nicholas was a guy that they had to get the ball to in this game, particularly in the vertical passing game. That's just his 3rd catch, now up to 37 yards.
Charlotte started the game with an 11-play, 75-yard touchdown drive that took 6 minutes off the clock. Since then, and that's prior to these last 2 plays, they've run 26 plays for 96 yards with 5 punts and 2 turnovers.
Oof. And that's what this coaching staff talked about, is finding the consistency of being able to finish drives. There's spots here and there in games where they look like they expect to play, and then all of a sudden there's stretches where they're unable to really be consistent and move the football.
Wilkie swings it. That's Cameron Smith. Smith with a tough run after the catch there. First down yardage for Charlotte. You like that Charlotte on the helmets today has gone to the old school Miner logo?
The old school Norm. I believe that's Norm the Niner with the old school logo. I do like that. It's a different look.
Hey, Norm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old school guy. Yeah, shout out to Norm. Bring him back.
This pass incomplete down low, trying to get it to Jake Young.
Not quite sure what happened there. Wilkie looked like he wanted to throw that ball a little bit sooner.
Oh, that's Norm trying to go in the Wayback Machine in the Flintstone costume.
Is he pedaling? Is he driving the car with his feet? Where's the vehicle?
Norm's just searching for gold.
That's it.
2nd and 10 for the 49ers. Wilkie looking to the sideline for a new play. Smith with another good run. We had the nice run after the catch on the swing pass a play ago, and then lowers his head, driving his legs that time.
He had a couple of nice runs, I thought, in the first half as well. couple other plays where he's kind of bottled up, but this time just finds a way to wait for a little bit of a crease to open up and then gets up the field. It's a nice run to set up a 3rd and short.
3rd down and 2 here for Charlotte. 6th play of the drive. Give it to Smith, and he squirts through with white jerseys all around him. Picks up another 1st down.
Smith is a guy they feel like has been playing well and wanted to give him some more opportunities. Gave him the start today.
He had over 1,100 yards of total offense a year ago at Western Illinois. 802 on the ground. Another 299 receiving. This time it's Wilkie keeping it himself, going across the 30. That's a gain of 6 for Zach Wilkie.
And I think that's what Wilkie can actually do pretty well, is use his legs to get out of trouble. I think, you know, you look at quarterbacks like that, they give defenses a ton of problems. And I would argue that for Temple, in a lot of ways, they did not want to see this guy a lot in this football game because of his ability to make plays with his feet.
Wilkie looking to pass. And he'll throw it complete for another 1st down. He's able to find Javen Nicholas.
That time showing the arm strength. There wasn't a lot of space there to get that ball in there.
Zipped it in.
Good throw.
4th catch of the game for Nicholas. A little bit of a developing story in Birmingham. UAB has increased the lead against Memphis. It's now 24-14. The Blazers in front of the Memphis Tigers, ranked 22nd nationally, undefeated this year.
Alex Mortensen, the interim head coach there and play caller offensively.
A little extra after that play. Maybe no harm, no foul. You get a look at the scoreboard around the American. East Carolina on Thursday night with a win over Tulsa. Tulane a winner over Army earlier today. Good one going between North Texas and UTSA and Denton. And tonight, South Florida and FAU in Tampa.
Right up by 35 for the UTSA fans. That's a long way. The state of Texas is big. It's a big state.
Breaking news.
I mean, you're going from South Texas to literally North. I mean, I know it's called the University of North Texas, but that is a long way.
5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
UTSA down in San Antonio, a big military area.
False start there for Charlotte. Backs it up 5 yards. Yeah, Denton about 45 minutes from the Oklahoma border.
It's a good little ride.
So instead of 2nd and 9, 2nd and 14. They'll tighten up the formation. Give is to Smith. Ball came out and it's scooped up by Temple. Trying to scoop and score. That's Lewis Fry, who picks it up and takes it the distance. Back this week after an injury kept him out last week. The Viper with the touchdown for the Owls. Smith had been so productive on that drive. Had it knocked out. And that's the 2nd defensive touchdown today for Temple.
Yeah, they had the pick 6 earlier, and then this time the forced fumble, I believe that was Joseph Ozan, number 98, knocked that ball away. And Lewis Fry is just stepping over lines going the other way.
3rd turnover of the game for Charlotte. Temple on its way to snapping that conference road losing streak, having not won a road conference game since 2019. This is the 3rd all-time meeting between these two schools. Temple trying to go 3-0 in the series. The extra point is good. It is 49-7 with a quarter still to play. So there it is. Last time Temple won a road game in conference play, November 7th of 2019. That's 21 straight road losses. Casey Keeler said, if you're not willing to dream big, that this is not the place for you. He said, I realize that some of my goals are not always realistic, but I don't care because I believe in the goals. Because we ask him, you know, the possibility of getting to a bowl game, sitting at 3-3 at the halfway point. And he said, I didn't come here to just get to a bowl game. He said, our goal is to win a conference championship and to be in the mix for one of those G6 playoff spots.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things he said about that, to your point, was a bowl game was realistic. He's worried about achievement, not what is realistic. He wants to exceed realistic. And I like that. You continue to raise the bar on a daily basis, and that's how you continue to have success. You have to continue to give yourself something to chase, something to achieve. And he's doing that with his football team, and he's always done that with his programs.
He got to visit with Casey Keeler a couple of weeks ago before their game against UTSA. And I said, Coach, I said, you remind me of Kurt Cignetti, but a little bit nicer. And he said, well, I'm not going to respond to that. He just kind of laughed about it. But he said, I will tell you this, Kurt Cignetti made it easier for old guys in college football. Kurt Cignetti in his 60s. By the way, congratulations on being rich, Coach Cignetti.
Yes.
Not that you weren't already, but goodness, $93 million contract that he signed an extension. And by the way, that kind of exterminates the talk of him going elsewhere. What a commitment Indiana has made to football. But Casey Keeler leaving Sam Houston State, taking this job at Temple, getting closer back to where he was raised, and he's won. And that was really the comparison that I was making with regard to Cignetti. You know, Kurt Cignetti famously said, I win, Google me.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one coach that's active in college football with more wins than Casey Keeler, and that's Brian Kelly. When you talk about coaching at all levels.
Absolutely.
Including a couple of FCS national
the end of the third
championships,
quarter.
one at Delaware and one at Sam Houston. His Temple Owls on their way to a fourth win and a second in American play, up 49-7 as we go to the fourth. 29-7 our score. Temple in front as we go to the final 15 minutes. Zach Wilkie's pass is complete. That's KD Hunter Gibson. Another transfer from Northwest Mississippi Community College. Was there for a couple of years out of Tupelo High School in Tupelo, Mississippi. Asked Tim Albin about the connection to Northwest. He said he's known Benji Parker, the head coach there, for 30 years. One of the best junior college football programs in America, Senatobia, Mississippi. Cobb on the carry that time for the first down run, about 4.
And the obvious connection between Wilkie and Hunter Gibson. You see them have a rapport when Hunter Gibson's able to get in the game with Wilkie.
Played together at Northwest. Whistle and a timeout taken by Temple.
I think Casey Keeler is very unhappy with some personnel there.
Not real clean on the substitution.
No.
Timeout on the field. We'll be back. Well, Pat McAfee was not trying to give $1 million here, but doink!
Oh,
so close.
Well, he's toe punching it. He's got to work on his technique there.
Yeah.
Got to get underneath it. Got to lift it.
Jelly Roll had a straight-on toe kick this morning. He hooked it. He hit it well, but he hooked it.
McAfee had a guy going for, what was it, $1 million this morning? Hooked that one too.
Well, they kind of cheated and pulled Rodrigo Blankenship out of the crowd.
Well, that's not fair.
For a $600,000 kick from 33 yards out. Flip, and this one is complete. That's another catch for Javen Nicholas, and he's going to get forward progress that should be enough for the first down. Needed to get to the 47-yard line.
To that point with Javen Nicholas, we talked about him early in this game and how he's going to have to be a factor. They're without E.J. Mason, number 7, a wide receiver who has been really, really effective for them at times this season as well. He had 10 catches in that Monmouth game. Actually only had 2 catches since the Connor Harrell injury. So he's a guy that's kind of lost the opportunities as you see Wilkie get chased down on the backside there.
Russell Sykes, 52. Russell Sykes, the 4th.
I got you locked in on the suffix now, don't I?
I mean, the 4th, that is Regal.
That's Regal.
So a sack for Sykes. That's his first of the year. Has a brother, Jalen Jeffries, who plays football at Old Dominion. Wilkie with time this time, now flush from the pocket. Gonna take off and run it. Good cut upfield, and he'll go out of bounds. That'll make it 3rd and manageable.
It's a nice move against Javon Brown, I should say. Trying to keep Wilkie from turning the corner. Wilkie says, nope, there's my athleticism. I'm gonna show you a little wiggle and get up the field. This is a nice job here. He knows he's one-on-one, and he's got to make something happen. Nice cut that time. Gets back up inside, gets a couple more yards, and gets out of bounds. Nice job not taking a big hit either.
Charlotte 3 of 11 on 3rd down today. Wilkie trying to find someone. There's nobody there, and he has to throw it away. That was in the general direction of KD Hunter Gibson.
And he did the minimum, too. He got barely out of the pocket, and that ball hit the ground right at the line of scrimmage so that he could avoid an intentional grounding there.
4th down, and Charlotte kind of punted away. Bronson Long.
And Charlotte is short a man on their punt unit.
Still time on the play clock to get it off. After giving an opportunity for substitution. Barely got it away. End over end kick. Fair catch called for and made inside the 10-yard line, and that will take us to a break. 49-7. Temple in front of Charlotte. Look at the AP top 10 this year. Wisconsin It's been a struggle for the Badgers, getting blown out by Ohio State, #1 team in the country. Miami went down last night. Indiana up big. A&M leading Arkansas and Fayetteville. First time to have that game back on campus since 2013. And they have got a shootout going in Athens, Georgia. Ole Miss leading 35-33 over Georgia.
How about the job that Mike Elko has done at Texas A&M?
Got a new quarterback in the game for Temple, Giovanni McCoy, getting the opportunity to play. Fifth-year senior that transferred in from Idaho. From Oregon State. How about in the 36 games for McCoy before coming to Temple? 7,134 passing yards and 46 touchdowns.
It was the FCS Freshman of the Year at Idaho, which is the Jerry Rice Award. So you know he's a really good football player. The interesting thing is you see McCoy kick it out there.
Jake Woods.
Yeah, how about that? It's a nice little play, a little wrinkle. Right-handed quarterback in McCoy moving to his left, dumps it off. But one thing we haven't seen in this game, and I don't want to gloss over McCoy here, but Tyler Douglas, one of their other quarterbacks, they have what they call the Tyler package. They put him in at receiver in different spots. We have not seen him at all in this football game. They have not needed to go to that. And now you see, obviously, McCoy in the game with an opportunity to finish this one for Temple.
Giovanni McCoy transfers in the spring. A great relationship with Evan Simon, and they had a real battle leading into the start of this season. Maybe a backward pass there, but it's complete, and now a good run after the catch, but a flag comes in. That was Kevion Mason on the reception.
You mentioned
Casey Keeler said to Evan Simon after spring practice, "We like you. We think you can do everything that we need you to do as quarterback. Now we're going to go get another quarterback to try and beat you out or make you
Holding
better."
offense, number 82, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
I love that approach by Casey Keeler in terms of just basically looking his guy in the face and saying, "You're good, but we want better. And if you're not going to do it on your own, we're going to find a way to force you to do it." And that's by bringing in some competition, bringing in somebody to push you. And they'll either beat you or you'll beat them. But we know we're getting a higher level of quarterback play if we bring somebody in to challenge you. I love that mentality. And I love that Evan Simon didn't run from it. He embraced it.
Casey Keeler told us that Evan Simon had a great start to camp. He was obviously ahead of McCoy, having been in the system a little while longer, having the spring. But then McCoy started coming on, and it really was a battle all the way to the first game. They decided that both quarterbacks were going to play in the first game, but Evan Simon had earned the right to kind of run out there first. All he did in that season opener against UMass was throw for 6 touchdowns and earn American Offensive Player of the Week.
There's some people that don't throw for 6 touchdowns in a career. And this guy does it in a game. That's big time. See, that's where McCoy, from a dynamic standpoint, that's where he's even better than Simon. He's a little bit more athletic, a little bit more explosive when he takes off with the football.
Had over 600 rushing yards in his career. Evan Simon today, 3 touchdown passes, also had a touchdown on the ground. So he, for the year, is up to 16 touchdown passes with 0 interceptions.
How about that? I mean, that's what you look for at the quarterback position. We're going to protect the football, don't give it away, and that gives us an opportunity in every game to win in the fourth quarter.
3rd and long, 3rd and 14. Giovanni McCoy is dropped. Might have made it back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a 3 and out, though, for the Temple offense. Closing in on 8 minutes to play. Here to point in the game where the hope for both teams is you get out of here with nobody getting hurt.
Absolutely correct.
Outcome of this one feels like it's been decided for a while now. Dante Atten, kind of a sidewinding punt that'll be fielded at the 30. No fair catch called for. Well, that's some punishment for a 3 or 4 yard return.
Especially for your leading receiver, Jamin Nicholas.
We're back to Charlotte after this. 8:05 to play. .805 to play, 49-7 our score. Temple leading it. Bigger crowd here certainly at the beginning. Back in August, they broke ground on the expansion to Jerry Richardson Stadium, a new north tower that's going to add about 3,000 seats. Will include a club area and some private suites to go on as well. Zach Wilkie and the Charlotte offense back onto the field and nothing doing on first down. It's one of the smallest FBS stadiums in the country. 15,314 the capacity. Hawaii's in that temporary stadium after Aloha Stadium was closed down. You see Kennesaw State and Sam Houston stadiums that are smaller as well.
The interesting thing about this particular stadium and situation here at Charlotte is, you know, as they look to obviously go through the expansion process, they've historically, at least the last couple of years, been over capacity in terms of attendance throughout the season. Late last year, they were somewhere around 108% to capacity going into their final home game.
Gain of 1.
Tim Albin told us one of the questions that he asked the hiring committee when he was going through the interview process, or kind of a statement. He wanted to see the reaction from the chancellor and the people that were on the committee, because he said sometimes you get some strange looks. He said he believes that the football program is the front door to the university, the front porch to the university. And there was absolutely no negative reaction to that statement. He said, I'm not saying it's the most important thing within a university.
Right.
Obviously, academics matters, and your faculty matters, and your student population matters. But there's little that gets more attention than the football program in terms of national television exposure and people talking about it, enrollment bumps related to success. And he felt like that the administration was committed to this being a football program that was competitive within the American.
And I think they've got a chance to be. I think there's several factors that allow for it to potentially have the success that they want. Number one, you're in a population area that has a high level of high school football. I know most people think about the transfer portal now to get programs better, but there is a high concentration of high-level high school football players right here in the Charlotte, North Carolina region within about 3 hours at minimum of here.
Well, and kind of what we were talking about earlier with Tulane in Louisiana, UTSA in that San Antonio area. Elite players that in this era are moving
Timeout.
all the time. And
for an injury,
even if you don't get a
so
guy
remember the
initially,
defense.
sometimes the opportunity, because you built that relationship with him during the high school recruiting process, gives you a chance when that player jumps into the transfer portal, and perhaps the second time around you got a chance.
And I think that's a great point, Richard, because I know about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, there was a big conversation about one-time transfer becoming the rule as Zael Powell works his way to the sideline after the injury. And so a lot of coaches, I think, were starting to shift their strategy to, I'm going to try to get a kid, but the mindset will be, I'm going to go into the portal and get a lot of sophomores and redshirt freshmen, because then they can't transfer again. But then you see these kinds of numbers in the transfer portal. Look at that, 3,500 kids in the transfer portal in a one-year cycle. That's a lot of football players. And not all of them are in there for the same reasons.
Wilkie with the pull and the big run. He takes it inside the 35-yard line. Fourth carry for Zach Wilkie. He read that one perfectly, didn't he?
That's a great read by Wilkie.
Gain of 18 on that carry for Wilkie. Opportunity here in the final quarter for Jake Davids, redshirt freshman from right here in Charlotte, Ardrey-Kell High.
It's my neighborhood.
There you go.
I know where that is.
South Charlotte?
South Charlotte. Yes, sir.
Closing in on 4 minutes remaining. Nothing that time, and that one was blown up by Demarick Morris, the defensive tackle, a fifth-year senior from Chicago.
Davids, the running back, played his high school football for Coach Greg Jackham down there at Ardrey-Kell High School. Another one of those really good coaches in this area.
Third and long here. It's Davids on the carry. That runs through the tackler. Able to wrap up and bring him down, though, Earl Culp.
If nothing else, he's running hard.
Actually, it was Lewis Fry, beg your pardon, on the tackle that time.
Davids is running really hard, if nothing else. Look at him here. Finish the run, drops that left shoulder and just bounces off.
Charlotte will go for it here on fourth down. Temple shows pressure. Wilkie gives it off to Davids, lowers his head, and looks like he's got enough, and does for the first down.
Davids is saying, hey, I'm going to maximize my opportunity. I get a chance late in this ball game. Who cares about the score? I'm going to play hard and see if I can get myself in the end zone.
Fresh set of downs for the 49ers, and it's Davids once again on the carry and trying to move the pile, picks up a couple.
And some are, some would look at this and say, hey, what does this mean for Charlotte? This is valuable reps for a group of guys in an offensive line that has been a mass unit throughout the season. And you got a group of 5 guys out there, presumably healthy enough, potentially to be able to all play next week. So the mindset is give them some reps, give them some opportunities in the running game to get some continuity and build some confidence and see what you get out of it.
So we got the 2-minute timeout. Temple leading at 49-7 over Charlotte. The Owls on their way to a 4th win this season. Sunsetting on Charlotte, North Carolina. Look at the Charlotte Motor Speedway there, 49-7 our score with 2 minutes remaining. 49ers with the football. Casey Keeler's team on its way to its first road conference win in 6 years.
Wow. That's the way to make a statement when you take over a program.
And honestly, the numbers not nearly as dominating as the final score is going to be in this one. A couple of defensive touchdowns really flipped this one into lopsided territory for Temple.
Yeah, that's a great point. You talk about not only points off turn, like 14 direct points off of turnovers.
Pick six and a scoop and score.
Absolutely. That will flip a game on its head in a heartbeat, especially if both go the way of one team.
Davids with another good run. That's going to pick up a first down at the 10-yard line for Charlotte. And if you're the 49ers, and at the risk of this sounding condescending, and I don't mean it that way at all, you're looking for small victories. I mean, you look at the scoreboard, and obviously game didn't go the way you wanted, but you talked a second ago about the opportunity for Jake Davids in the backfield late in this ball game, and he's had a good drive.
Yeah, he's had a really good drive. An offensive line, a group that, again, we've talked about this throughout the game, has just been, an absolute puzzle, right? We talked about that in our meetings. Like the puzzle, you said it best. You have this 1,000-piece puzzle, but you don't have the box with the picture on it to tell you how to finish it. That's been this offensive line this year. I mean, every time they turn around, they're down an offensive lineman here, a guy's nicked up there, and it's just a shuffleboard of trying to find 5 guys they can put out there and have some success with. This drive has to tell that story right now.
You saw the schedule coming up. North Texas here on the 24th, a Friday night game. Then they go to East Carolina, get UTSA at home, and then finish with back-to-back road games
Charlotte,
at Georgia.
First. They are taking the timeout
and at Tulane
to avoid a 10-second runoff.
And that East Carolina
injury
game,
of the offensive player. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Like we hear the cliche all the time, right? Throw all the records out. As you see, number 50, Rod Green, who was a guy who's sort of one of the next men up offensive lineman, wasn't going to start the game today, didn't start the game, and now all of a sudden he's down with an injury as well. But getting back to that point is, you're trying to just find ways to find positivity and find ways to put something together. You take whatever you can get to lean into as positive steps for a football team. And Tim Albin kept talking about, we have to focus on becoming. Before we can be, we have to be becoming. And I think that's a really interesting and smart approach as he tries to build this program.
63 seconds remaining. Wilkie this time will keep it. Trying to get to the corner, gets to the end zone, touchdown, Zach Wilkie. Davids had done a lot of the work on that drive. Zach Wilkie with a good read. Gets to the outside and gets into the end zone for the score.
Wilkie's just reading the edge defender there. Nice job pulling it. Turns the corner, touchdown. He's able to beat David Pelgo to the edge.
15-play drive, 70 yards, 7:09. Extra point is good. That makes it 49-14 with less than a minute to play. So we talked about what's coming up for Charlotte. Turn your attention to Temple, who's going to go to 4-3 in 57 seconds. They're going to go to 2-1 in the American. We've got a road trip coming up to Tulsa. Tulsa winless in the league. It'll be a huge home game on November 1st against East Carolina. They make the trip to Michie Stadium in West Point. And they get Tulane and North Texas. Question is, will they have 6 wins before those final 2 games against 2 of the top teams in the American?
Got to be careful at Tulsa. Trey Lamb, young head coach, first-year coach. They've decided to go youth movement. Their quarterback, Baylor Hayes, really good football player, not the biggest guy. He can spin it with his arm, and he can make plays with his feet. Got to be careful against that Tulsa team. And East Carolina maybe starting to turn the corner a little bit and get out of a little bit of a rut they had early in some games with some slow starts. See how they perform against them. So the next 2 games, I think, really big for Temple.
You expect that John David Baker offense at ECU to be fast and to put a bunch of points on the board. That's the way he wants to play.
That's absolutely correct.
Jay Ducker had a big game running the football today for Temple. He was able to cap it off with a late touchdown run. Went for over 100 yards. Ducker's been a bunch of different places. Northern Illinois, Memphis, Sam Houston. He now has a 100-yard rushing game at 3 of the 4 schools in which he has played.
12.7 yards per carry in this ball game. Jay Ducker, the tone setter, coming over with Casey Keeler from Sam Houston. He certainly did that today. He was one of our impact players, and he certainly delivered.
Giovanni McCoy in to take a knee a couple of times. A victory formation for the Temple Owls, and this one is going to be sweet for Casey Keeler, his staff, and his football team, snapping that dubious skid of having lost 21 straight road conference games going back to 2019. That will do it with the kneel down 40 seconds on the play clock. Less than that on the game clock. Charlotte stays winless in conference play. They fall to 0-4, 1-6 overall. Temple goes to 4-3 on the year, 2-1 in the conference. Tim Albin and Casey Keeler with a quick visit at midfield. Get a look there at Evan Simon, who had a big day today at the quarterback spot for Temple. Very efficient. 15 of 22 for 194 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had a touchdown on the ground. And in just a moment, Smacker Miles taking a visit with quarterback QB1 for Temple.
Yeah, QB1 was QB almost perfect in this ball game. Once again, did not turn the football over. Very efficient running this offense. What I liked really best about him in this ball game, his decision-making in the running game to keep the football as well.
Let's send it down and hear from Evan Simon with Smacker Miles. Smacker?
Evan, you guys dominated in each phase. What stands out about your team's performance today?
Yeah, just a fantastic job of running for this week. You know, super proud of the guys. You know, we had a chip on our shoulder this week, and it was all about inflicting pain. And super proud of these guys, and on to the next.
You mentioned the chip on your shoulder, and I know you came off a heartbreaker. How good does it feel to be back in the win column?
Yeah, fantastic. Super proud of the guys. You know, top down, coaches, players. You know, we did a fantastic job, and you know, on to the next.
You're now 4-3 with 5 conference opponents left. What's the ceiling for this team?
Yeah, it's as high as we want it to go. You know, before this game, we found out we were going to be 3 different teams' homecomings, so we're taking that personal, and we cannot wait.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
Evan Simon with a big day today. 114 yards. I beg your pardon. Let me get that right. 194 yards through the air with 3 touchdowns. Had the rushing touchdown as well, 6 carries for 16 yards. So responsible for 4 touchdowns today as Temple cruises to a win today over the Charlotte 49ers. Thank you for spending part of your Saturday with us. That wraps it up for us here in the state of North Carolina. 49-14, Temple over the Charlotte 49ers. For my partners, Reginald Walker Jr., Smacker Miles, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Richard Cross. Thanks for joining us. Good night from Charlotte. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Temple with a big win today in Charlotte.